Smith. Frank McCourt's early life was filled with poverty. His father was an alcoholic. His mother had more children than they could support. He feared his schoolmasters as well as the church. Frank got typhoid fever at an early age, which he had for about 3 months. He survived his illness and was thankful for his recovery every day.
Frank McCourt could not have done the many good things he did without the books and people that inspired him. One of the great books that inspired him was Tom Brown's School Days. When Frank McCourt read this book, he was changed in so many ways. Huckleberry Finn was another book that changed young McCourt. A teacher that we have spoken about earlier, Mr. O'Halloran, also inspired McCourt. He was the only teacher that Frank had that gave him words of encouragement. He called McCourt a literary genius and encouraged him to be the great man that he is today.
Hello, I am Hans Wentz. Most kids at McCourt School had old, worn-out clothes and went barefoot. Frank was one of those children. He wore the same clothes every day, morning and night, 7 days a week. At school, he was always interested in writing, and took every writing assignment in school a lot further than was necessary. At one point, he was told to write a 100-word paragraph, and he wrote about 500 words. His last school teacher, Mr. O'Halloran, told McCourt that he was a literary genius and encouraged Frank to be himself. When he graduated school at the age of 14, Mr. McCourt got a job at the post office, delivering telegrams. He then went into the Air Force, became a teacher, and finally settled down and began writing books. He wrote about his troubled childhood, his problems with typhoid, and his troubled parents. His many memoirs came from tales of poverty, abuse, hunger, disease, and McCourt's struggle through life. None of his books were fictional. They were all real and down to earth. Frank wrote countless masterpieces, all worthy of the recognition that his work has gotten. Frank is in a way a literary hero to our world. Thank you.
Frank McCourt taught at McKee Vocational High School. He said in his own experience that there was no lolling about on the floor. I was getting up at 6:30 in the morning to take the ferry to Staten Island to McKee Vocational High School. And he had to go into class, 5 classes, of tough kids who were not a bit interested in what I had to say. So I had to hook them, and I was thrown into this. As I told you before, I had no high school education. In the words of Frank McCourt, the day I retired from teaching again was one of the most satisfying days of my life, and it was also sad. But when the day I retired, I went home by myself and I had a glass of wine. I was thinking about the lunch teachers gave me that day, the retirement lunch, and I was able to look back on the 30 years of my life in a classroom. Here is Frank McCourt's video from the Academy of Achievement. Here he speaks about the end of his life and how things have formed together and everything has worked out for his books.
This is follow your dream, or Joseph Campbell would say follow your bliss. You have to. If it's deep enough and authentic and profound and genuine, that's where you have to go. If you want to put on the collar of a clergyman, go and put it on. If you want to be a barefooted monk in the Himalayas, that's what you have to do. If you want to be a housewife, that's what you have to do. Because nature, I found out eventually why I was put on this earth. I was put on this earth to write. And as Thomas Carlyle said, happy is the man who has found his work. So I'm happy. And I hope everybody else finds that too.
Thank you for watching today, and I hope you have learned a lot about the great Frank McCourt and what he has done to achieve his status as one of the greatest writers in America. He is truly a wonderful man and has changed many, many, many lives.